morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Monday, which means it's Mucking Fonday. Oh, great. Right back to the grind, back to our jobs. If we have a normal, 5 days a week, 9 to 5 job, even though I think at this point it's 5 to 5 job. As we continue another week of news.
Get away from the grind. Just call it the grind. It's the grind.
This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look for our shows right before the show starts. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those mucking headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Mucking Fonday, the virus-stricken cruise ship docks in the Netherlands for disinfection. Plus, politics latest in the UK, Starfire opponents are lighting a match and standing in the petrol, says Lambie.
And Mucking Fonday worldwide as whale is found. The whale that was being rescued over the past few weeks has been found dead in Denmark. And we have a midair collision in Idaho.
European countries urge rethink of human rights on migration. And Shakira is no longer accused of fraud in Spain. Or in Spain,
For that matter. And gas prices are up 56% in the United States, and I'm sure everybody's pretty aware of that, but we're going to report on it anyway. And scientists identify a simple supplement that greatly reduces Alzheimer's damage.
In my culture news, Harlem Renaissance documentary finally gets a global premiere 50 years after the cameras rolled.
That's right. And it's National Visit Your Relatives Day. It says everything is relative. You're all my relatives, so come visit me. It is May 18th, 2026. I'm Before Coffee. Everything is relative.
Everything is relative, indeed.
That's right. I am happy, but not happy compared to the time I won the lottery. Everything's relative.
You won the lottery? Oh, I saw this hypothetical on the internet that was like, if you win 10 million, but you can't tell anybody for 6 months, can you do it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
As somebody who barely talks to anyone, it would be really easy not to tell anyone, yeah.
I would enjoy not telling anybody. In fact, I wouldn't tell anybody for 10 years.
I know a secret.
How come you don't ever have it? How come you never always have money? I'm not telling you, man. It's my secret. I got a sugar daddy. Yeah, that's the ticket. I got a sugar daddy. I do him up right.
Both me and Roger are looking for sugar daddies if anybody's available. Please.
No, thank you. As I know these are. That was my cover story.
I was making a joke. Okay, let's roll our segue wheel.
You're taking it too far. I don't want a sugar daddy. I actually don't want anyone, actually. Maybe a sugar mama.
Wow, excuse you. I'll just see myself out.
All right, then. I'm fine, man.
Associate is our first segue, which is coming out of... It'll be easy to do because it's a really easy association with my first story.
Association, I forgot I had to write something down. Okay, here we go. Okay.
The virus-stricken cruise ship that you've probably been hearing about for, 3 weeks now. The new panic button for a lot of people. Yeah. Well, don't panic because it's in the Netherlands getting disinfection.
Pointless.
This is from Molly Quell on AP News. Coming out of Rotterdam. The cruise ship hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak has docked at the Dutch port of Rotterdam for disinfection, wrapping up a troubled journey that put in international health authorities on high alert. The MV Hondius was carrying 25 crew members and 2 medical personnel as it reached Rotterdam on today, the 18th of May, after all passengers disembarked elsewhere. An Associated Press journalist saw people board the boat via pier wearing white hazardous material suits. A short distance from where the ship docked, authorities had set up 25 white containers along the water in between lines of windmills. How picturesque! The crew will enter immediate quarantine, with those who cannot be repatriated spending their time in quarantine in those containers with satellite internet and catering. Hey! I mean, that's something. They gave them internet and catering, so I mean, that's what the Port Harbor's master René de Vries has indicated. The ship is in need. The ship is at sea. Crew members are sick, probably affected. So in that case, I think it's acceptable to say, no, you're not welcome in the biggest port of Europe, he said. He said Rotterdam port frequently shelters ships struck by misfortune in the North Sea. But this is the first time they welcomed a vessel that sailed halfway around the world from Antarctica. De Vries said the port's health authorities would work with the Erasmus Medical Center and the city of Rotterdam to safely disinfect the ship. She will be cleaned here at the jetty, he said of Hondius. We can manage this. During the outbreak, 3 passengers who had been aboard the ship died, including a Dutch couple whose health officials believe were the first exposed to the virus while visiting South America. The MV Hondius has spent the past 6 days sailing from the Canary Islands, where the remaining passengers were escorted off the vessel by personnel in full-body protective gear and boarded flights to more than 20 countries to enter quarantine. Shouldn't they enter quarantine in the Canary Islands? They have a lot of money. They could have afforded it. The outbreak on the ship has reached at least 11 cases, 9 of which have been confirmed. 3 passengers have died, including a Dutch couple whose health officials believe were the first... Wait, we already spread that. Why did we write it twice? That was the same paragraph, AP. You can't give me the same paragraph twice. The Public Health Agency of Canada said one of the 4 Canadians in isolation after leaving the ship had tested positive Sunday, the 17th of May, and would share information on the case with the World Health Organization. The vessel made the journey from Tenerife on the coast of Africa and Europe with 25 crew members and 2 medical personnel. According to the ship operator Ocean Wine Expeditions, no one on board is experiencing any symptoms. Crew members who are unable to return home will be quarantined in the Netherlands, the Dutch Health Ministry said last week. Some 24 passengers and crew are already in quarantine in the Netherlands after arriving in the country on a series of flights over the previous 2 weeks. 18 Americans are currently under observation at specialized healthcare facilities in the United States designed to treat people with dangerous infectious diseases. After everyone on board has disembarked, the ship will be decontaminated based on Dutch public health guidelines. Personal protective measures are being taken to ensure that the cleaners do not need to quarantine after the cleaning, the health ministry said in a letter to the Dutch parliament last week. Public health officials will inspect the vessel before it is allowed to sail again. The hantavirus outbreak aboard the MV Hondius is the first known case on a cruise ship. The Dutch company that owns the cruise ship, which is why it's coming here, in case you're wondering, they're not just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. It's a Dutch company to begin with, said it doesn't foresee any changes in its operations. It has an Arctic cruise setting sail from Keflavik, Iceland on May 29th. France's Pasteur Institute said on Saturday, the 16th of May, it has fully sequenced... Was that 16th?
Too much.
Has fully sequenced the Andes virus detected in the French passenger from the MV Hondius and found that it matched viruses already known in South America, with no evidence so far that any of the new characteristics that would make it more transmissible or more dangerous. So it's just, your garden variety hantavirus. Salad with a side of rat feces, I guess, and that's how you get it. You just eat food that's been contaminated by rat feces, so they ate somewhere.
Pretty sure it's mice. Mice, not rats, right? Or is it rats now? Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The point is somebody made food and didn't have a clean environment, and somebody caught hantavirus. That's all I'm trying to say. That's how you catch it. You don't get bit by a rat or a mouse or anything. That's not how you catch it. You catch it by
no. It's airborne
around your food.
It's also airborne, right? No.
No, you definitely need
my
rat
association
feces.
was the I love that word disembarked. I know it's a non sequitur. Disembarked, right? It's a compound word. Disembarked means the opposite of embarked, right? What is embarked the opposite of? So did you bark to begin with and then you embarked? Anyway, my association with the hantavirus is what was discovered the same year we moved to New Mexico in 1993. Well, 92, 93. We moved to New Mexico, and that was the year the hantavirus was discovered in northern New Mexico, where 33 people came down with it in the Four Corners region, and 17 died. That's over 50% fatality rate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so very serious.
I've seen it on medical shows. You know, it's a thing when it's on a medical show.
Yeah. I guess cruise ships. My saying about cruise ships again has always been, has been forever since the 90s. I've called cruise ships floating prisons with botulism. That's what they are. You can't. All right, so let's get our. You're stuck there. Yeah,
these are our updated fact sheet about hantavirus from the World Health Organization, just so that we get it clear. Right. Hantavirus is a group of viruses carried by rodents, so it can be mice, it can be squirrels, it can be guinea pigs.
Not a lot of squirrels on a cruise ship. Not a lot of those on a cruise ship. You're not gonna get any.
Yeah, they carry the disease, and it can cause severe disease in humans. People usually get infected through contact with the rodents themselves. So you pick up, a rat that has the disease. Their urine, so they can pee everywhere, and then that you get infected. Their droppings, which is their feces, and saliva, so they could be eating that piece of cheese, and then you eat that piece of cheese, and now you have hantavirus. Infection with so it's not airborne. Infection with hantavirus can cause a range of illnesses, including severe disease and death. In the Americas, hantavirus can cause hantavirus cardiopulmonary syndrome, HCPS, a severe respiratory illness, with a case fatality rate of up to 50%, so you can stop breathing. Funday virus, which is the one we're specifically talking about that was on this cruise ship, is found in South America. It is currently known hantavirus for which limited human-to-human transmission is possible, which is why they're in quarantine, because it's not like 100% guaranteed to spread through human contact, but it can spread through human contact, which is how so many people got infected with it, right? At first it was 3 people, and then it was 11, so...
right.
In Europe and Asia, hantavirus causes hemorrhagic fever with Reynolds syndrome. So that's the European and Asian virus, which is not the one being spread on the current spread is not from that. It's from the South American Andes version, which is just the one that causes severe respiratory illness.
Yeah, and of course, the cruise ship industry is regulated by the Bureau of We Don't Give a Shit, and we're making profits. So they're not really going to be regulated on whose kitchen's safe. There's mice breeding right above your kitchen and leaking through the ceiling. Yet
again, there's no, that's not a fact. Nobody. We have no idea. We have no idea where they caught the virus.
No idea. Of course. Yeah. We don't know because there is no regulation. And cruise ship industry is regulated by nobody because these ships fly their flags from Liberia. Because Liberia is
from the Netherlands, so
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Here. Is it a flagship from the Netherlands?
That's what I said in the story. The company that owns it is Dutch. That's why they're stopping in Rotterdam.
That doesn't mean they're flying a Dutch flag. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. They put a flag on there where they want to register their ship. It doesn't matter who owns it. That's why they get away with not regulating the ships. Because they can put a Liberian flag no matter who owns it.
But they wouldn't have gotten away with it because they've been caught red-handed right now.
No, they've been caught because people are dead. Other than that, they've been getting away with it. There's just 1 or 2 cruise ships out there. There's hundreds. They're just getting away with it. That's all. I mean, there isn't anybody out there going, "Oh, we got to clamp down on this." There ain't nobody doing that. There's still people getting on cruise ships today. Totally oblivious, totally not caring about their own health. Anyway, you got another story. I'm on a non sequitur now. All right.
My next story is about politics in the UK, because I know Tommy wants to talk about this, and well, we talked about it last Monday. So a lot of shit happens over the weekend in the UK. I guess they're always. So I think last Monday when we last talked about this, everyone was like, "Starmer, you need to resign because you lost a lot of seats in the local elections. And then Starmer was like, I'm not going to give in to your hate mongering. So he said, good luck with that plan. But now, opponents of Starmer are, as Lambie has said, lighting a match and standing in the petrol. This is from Kate Devlin on The Independent. David Lambie has warned his colleagues will usher in Nigel Farage by lighting a match and standing in the petrol as labor infighting continues. The Deputy Prime Minister hit out against internecine warfare and called on his party to pull together ahead of the likely leadership challenge against Sir Keir Starmer in the weeks ahead. Mr. Lambie has continued to offer his full support to Sir Keir. I was making sure my candle was still lit. To Sir Keir Starmer, as the Prime Minister faces immense pressure from rival figures like Wes Streeting and Andy Burnham. Supporters of Mr. Burnham are reportedly furious with Mr. Streeting after he signaled he wanted to see Britain return to the EU. That's a great way to get votes, if you can actually do it, as he announced he would stand in any Labour leadership contest. Allies of the Greater Manchester Mayor believe it is a deliberate attempt to raise the issue of Brexit into the Leave voting constituency of Markfield, where Mr. Burnham is hoping to stand in the upcoming by-election. A senior government source told The Times, I despair is like a gift to Farage. What West did reeks of desperation and selfishness. The former health secretary said leaving the EU was a catastrophic mistake, and he stressed it was time for the UK to build a new special relationship with the Union. They're not going to let you rejoin. If I was in
too much trouble.
If I was in the EU, I would not let the UK rejoin in 50 years. You can't trust them. They fought. I mean, I know the whole history, right? If you look at the history of the UK joining the EU, they tried to join in the 70s or maybe even earlier than that. And then France was like, if you let the UK join, they will use all of our resources and then leave. And then what happened? That's exactly what he predicted would happen. The UK uses all the resources, right? They take all their port towns in the UK, took all the EU money, and then the UK said, well, thanks for the help, bye. You heard us. And the worst part is the UK turned the relationship into like a you used us, right? They totally flipped it around. Instead of the UK using the EU's money, they said, no, you're stealing our money and using us. And that's not what was happening, because it was a fair trade thing, right? Where you take a lot of money from us, you have to give us a lot of money in return. That's how it works. So maybe the UK wasn't taking so much money from the EU, it wouldn't have had to pay it back to them. But let's not go. That's just my point, is that this is all. I kind of agree with what Lambie's saying. This is all. The infighting is not going to help against the actual danger, which is an anti-immigrant racist who wants to return the UK to some sort of white savior zone. So that's my shorter story about the drama in the UK.
Right, then. My association is the most important part about the UK being in the European Union was, other than Ireland, they're the only country that has English as their language, right? In the EU at the time. But all of the signs, and we did this all over the EU, the signs are in English. So they got that done. Even though England and Ireland are the only nominally English-speaking countries in the EU.
And to be fair, Ireland is still in the EU, so
they are. I'm just saying, Ireland's the only one still in the EU that speaks English as their like you know what I mean. And they had to get that from England, by the way. Their language is Gaelic, right? But of course, England made that illegal because that's what they do. Anyway, there's that's my association, and I did want to tell you there is one cruise line that flies the Netherlands flag, right? And you know what it's called? It's called Holland America, and it's officially headquartered in Seattle. So it flies a Dutch flag.
Oh, it is called Holland America.
Well, I'm just saying, it's the only one that flies a Dutch flag. The only cruise line that flies a Dutch flag is an American one. So the flag is really just, and they only do it out of honor, because if you fly a flag for a certain country, you have their regulations. So that's why the Bahamas.
Why are we still talking about this? We've moved on.
That was my thing for the because it's interesting. What difference does it make? I don't know what the hell difference it makes whether I'm talking about it or not. I just find it interesting. That's all. Maybe
Okay.
relevant to whether it was this story or that story.
I'm just trying to stop us from going on tangents for 10 minutes because the show is becoming 3 hours long and I really don't want to sit here for 3 hours.
Well, I do shorten my stories and they get shorter all the time, so.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
tangents.
so do we spin the wheel?
Let's spin the wheel. It is going to be another associate for me. Take it away.
Boy, associate. We're talking about whale. The whale of a story that won't go away. It's finally going to go away, probably. Whales die. They do. They do die, everybody. I'm just an unfortunate fact of life. Everything dies, except rocks, I suppose. A whale was
They
found
get destroyed
dead
by
in
a water
Danish
erosion.
after German rescue operation. Yeah, don't make a friend with a rock because you're going to be gone long time. If you're waiting for a rock to die, you got to wait on your hands. This is from BBC Joshua Cheatham. I don't know, he cheated him. Joshua Cheatham, let's call him that. A humpback whale rescued after beaching itself in Germany has been found dead in a Danish island. The whale was first spotted stuck on a sandbank on 23rd of March. We've reported on this at least 2 other times, maybe 3. Off the island of Poel in Germany's Baltic coast. Again, we're going to reiterate, this was God did this. God, again, is very, very behind on his schedule in about 500 years ago. About 1536, there was a major economic, and I want to call it climate catastrophe. They couldn't grow any crops and people were starving. And they prayed to God for send us some food. And God said, yeah, I'll get to it. He finally got to it. I guess time doesn't exist in actual goddom. There's no time in actual world, but in goddom for sure there's no time. He got to it as soon as he could, which is 500 years later, which is like, to God, that's nothing. Think of how old the universe is. Think about it. Okay, so anyway, so he sent them a whale way too late, and they rejected it instead of freaking thanking God, which they should have done. Anyway, let's get on with the story. I'm only partly sarcastic about that. The whale was first spotted stuck on a sandbank off the Baltic coast. It swam free early May after a water-filled barge carried it into the North Sea. The operation was privately funded by 2 German entrepreneurs and spurred intense public debate, with critics suggesting it would only cause the animals distress. That's what it did. The whale carcass was reportedly spotted on Thursday off the Danish islands of Anholt, located in the Denmark of Sweden. It's more like this. It's like this, we don't want this big stinky dead whale here. That's more of what, to me, that's what it seems like it is now, right? It wasn't about saving the whale. It was like, we don't want it on our friggin' hands. We got, too many seagulls and vultures. I think that's just what it was, right? I think that's boils down to, we'd rather have it out of our hands. Anyway, that's my cynicism. Authorities were immediately able to confirm it was the same whale. In a statement, the Danish Environmental Protection Agency conditions on Saturday made it possible the whale's identity to be verified and its tracking device retrieved. Maybe the tracking device killed it. The agency told AFP that no concrete plans to remove the whale from the area or perform the necropsy, which is, I suppose, is what do you call it? What do you call it? Thing they do on people when they die? We'll figure it out in a minute. I can't think of words this early in the morning. The agency told AFP there's no concrete plans to remove the whale from the area to perform a necropsy. It is not currently considered to pose a problem in the area, but it stressed that people should not approach the whale because it might carry a disease that can be transmitted to humans. Let me go hug a dead whale. There's also a risk of explosion, it added, because of large volumes of internal gas caused by decomposition. The whale nicknamed Timmy, we gave it a name, and Hope. This whale has no idea what its name is. Just wanted to let everybody know this. Humans are stupid in this way. We think you're giving things a name, it's going to it's going to be just like us. No, not like you. The whale nicknamed Timmy or Hope by rescues, Timmy or Hope, they couldn't even settle on a name, by rescuers in German media, became stranded in the Timmerdorfer beach in Lübeck Bay in 23 March. It first freed itself because it became stuck again after several times. German authorities attempted a number of rescues or announced they were giving up. Entrepreneurs Kevin Walter Moment and Walter Gunz, good, well-intentioned people, I guess, later funded a private rescue, fitting the whale with tracking device and coaxing it onto a water-filled transport ship called Fortuna B. Oh, they took it on a joyride. Whee! All the way around Denmark.
That's what the marine biologist said was going to kill it. The stress of being on a joyride. Not a lot of joy there.
All right. Yes, let's go to Norway while we're at it. Anyway, Till Bacchus, the environmental minister in northern state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, let's just call it Mecklenburg, hailed the operation as a success when it wasn't, and an example of Germany of what can be done. Yeah, you moved a whale, and it died anyway. But wildlife groups have been skeptical about the whale's future after its release into the North Sea. The German Oceanographic Museum warned that the whale was at risk of drowning because it was so weak. Whale and dolphin conservation was especially downbeat, warning that the whale had no long-term chance of survival and it suffered skin damage because of its lack of salinity in the waters along Germany's Baltic Sea coast. So the whale was going to die. We can't let things die gracefully as humans. We got to figure out how to save it somehow. And when, like I said, 500 years ago, 100 years ago, right? They would have been saying, "Oh, whale! We get to feed the village." Not nowadays. Not nowadays. Not nowadays. They're like, "What do we do to save that poor whale? It's going to die anyway. Let's go to..." It's probably a tax write-off. I know rich people. Yeah. I'm sure it's a tax write-off of these rich guys. I'm sure they're not out anything.
Yeah, why are you missing $50 million in your taxes? Well, you see, I saved a whale, so that's actually a write-off.
Yeah, it was an environmental thing. Yeah, I was trying to help the environment. No, you weren't. You weren't doing anything for the environment at all, other than preventing a whale from exploding on your shores. And again, you can prevent a whale by exploding on the shores by doing what they do in Oregon and Washington and Alaska. They let the native population have at it. Don't you have native populations that do? Bring in some people from from Finland or somewhere that love to eat. Yeah. Somebody out there. You got it. Chop it up and eat it. God Lord, that's what nature's gonna do. You think the sea creatures are going, "Oh, no, we don't want no whale today. That's not in the menu." Fuck no. Eat it. Eat it. Anyway, sorry. Next story. Next association. Sorry.
Well, I mean, of course, I associate this with any kind of... I see this as a PR move. This is just a PR move for that rich guy. He wanted to be known as the whale savior, and then, I don't know, use that to increase his stocks or something. Instead, it's just like, no.
I'm sure it's a tax dodge.
And, I mean, so many marine biologists and general whale knowledge people were like, there's no point, bro. Don't do it. You're just causing continued suffering, but,
Right. Yeah. And I'm gonna go out and say on a limb and say these probably a Disney movie scenario, and these billionaires' lives where their kid is like, "Daddy, can't you do something?" And they go, "Yeah, we do something," and they do something, and it doesn't work. And I say, "Well, I did something. At least my kid doesn't hate me."
Maybe they watched too much Free Willy when they were young.
Yeah, because Willie was being tortured. Keeping whales in captivity, not a plan. So let's not. Of course, Free Willy was not technically a whale. He was. Are they technically whales? Are they closer to dolphins?
Yes.
The killer whale.
They're definitely whales. Dolphins are whales.
Killer whales.
Yes, they're all whales.
All right.
Those dolphins are whales.
Okay, well, I'm going to take your word for it.
Whales.
I'll look it up. Iowa Statesman has a story.
They're all mammals for sure.
You say that with such certainty that I hope you're right. IdahoStatesman.com, midair collision sparks crash at Idaho air show. Right, but all mammals aren't whales. I'm not a whale.
What are you saying? I'm just saying they're mammals.
They're mammals, yes. It doesn't mean they're whales. Never mind. They'll do it a different story. It's about a midair collision, talking about tangents. Mountain Home Air Force Base. This is in Idaho. Mountain Home. What a great name for a town. Where do you live? I live in a mountain home. Y'all live in one house? It sounds like everybody lives in one house, doesn't it? Or they're at the home, the special home. Maybe that's it. We had to send Grandpa to the mountain home. Why? He was talking to trees. Oh, okay. While watching aerial performance, this is the IdahoStatesman.com, Sally Krutzig. While watching aerial performances, nobody died in this, by the way, just making the lighter side of it. While watching, by the way, you're aerial acrobat and you got in a collision. I didn't make you do it. You did that all on your own, right? This is a voluntary thing, right? Nobody is making you do this. You're probably making money at it. Oh no, it's probably the Navy, no? Or the Air Force wasting money. While watching aerial performances at the Gunfighter Skies at Air Show on Sunday and Mountain Home Air Force Base, those in the crowd of thousands stood and began pointing to a thick plume of black smoke rising in the sky. What the hell's that? Gee, Air Show, thick plume of smoke. Sounds like an accident. Two of the performing aircraft collided midair 2 miles northwest of the base. A spokesperson for the Mountain Home Air Force Base, 366th Fighter Wing, told the Idaho Statesman. A fighter wing has time for air shows, apparently. The thing about air shows to me is like, why? I appreciate the fact that they exist, but is there a better way to spend money? And they don't charge enough to get back that money. I don't think they do charge enough for the admission to get back that money. The Mountain Home Air Force Base gunfighters posted on social media shortly after 6 p.m. that all air crew involved were in stable condition at St. Luke's, which is part of the emergency response. Air St. Luke's, I guess, is a hospital. The crash occurred about 12:10 p.m. during a performance involving two EA-18G Viking Growler demo team aircraft flown by 4 crew members from the Electronic Air Attack Squadron VAQ-127 from Whidbey Island, Washington. I know where that is.
That's a lot of numbers.
I've been at Whidbey Island. There's a ferry you take from Whidbey Island up to Orcas Island. According to the 366 Fighter Wing Public Affairs Office news release, Orcas Island, named after orcas, the killer whales. 4 parachutes could be seen in the sky near the crash scene. Yeah, that means everybody ejected. One Idaho statesman reported then saw the parachutes and what appeared to be sparks in the sky. Yeah, they're going to be sparks. All 4 of the air crew successfully, probably sparks, maybe a flare, sent out by the, when you eject,
when you get stranded, you want people, yeah, exactly.
You got flares. All 4 of the air crew successfully ejected and were being evaluated by medical personnel. The aircraft crashed at Grandview Highway, also known as Idaho. They crashed onto a highway, also known as Idaho 167, causing Elmore County quickly to close the roadway. Grandview Highway remained
nobody was on the road.
Between South Simcoe Road and Air Base Road for several days. How the hell do you... I mean, there's so much space in Idaho, and you just land on a highway of all things? I mean, there was no pilots guiding it. They just landed on a highway. First and foremost, we're incredibly thankful that everyone involved in it. I want a picture of these deals in the highway. I want to see what it looks like. That's what I want. Come on, reporters. Get out there. You get to Area 51, get out there to this crash scene. First and foremost, we are incredibly thankful that everyone involved in today's incident was safe, said Colonel David Gunter, the 366th Fighter Wing Commander. The extraordinary professionalism of emergency response team, including the city and county, allowed a quick response to the air crew as well as security to see and ensure the safety of our guests before the community. There was no people actually in danger except the people that were on the highway. And hey, they're showing the highway being closed. That's cool. Yeah, so it landed not too far from there. That's just not the cool. Again, that's an air show you will talk about the rest of your life. I've been to air shows, and I really have nothing to talk about in any of them. So there's your quick story about the air crash in Idaho. Everybody is not necessarily doing fine. They're in the hospital, stable condition, as they say, but ejecting from an airplane is no joke. Just ask Maverick's partner there. What was his name? Cowboy? The one who ejected in Top Gun.
That was a movie.
You can't just ask Val Kilmer. Was it Val Kilmer? Who Who ejected? Was it Val
Don't
Kilmer?
know. I've never seen that film.
You've never seen Top Gun?
No.
Right.
Sorry. I'm assuming you're looking up who made this movie.
Goose. Anthony Edwards, the guy who was in Revenge of the Nerds. Anthony Edwards played Goose.
I haven't seen that either, but yes. Okay.
They both ejected, and old Anthony Edwards smacked his head.
Uh-oh.
On
the ground?
And
on the canopy.
No, on the canopy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ouch.
The canopy, because yeah. And
Oh,
of
that
course,
would hurt.
Tom
That
Cruise
would do
found him, and he parachuted to the ground, and Tom Cruise found him in the ocean, and he hugged him and cried, and it was the most emotional scene in the whole movie because not Goose, that's his wingman. His wingman. He needs a wingman. Not Goose. My buddy. Oh. And it reminded me of the same scene in Officer and a Gentleman where Richard Gere finds his best friend hanging in a shower and hugs him and cries. They're the same scene. They're the exact same scene. It's the same exact movie. Officer and Gentleman and Top Gun are the same movie. They're the same movie. The exact same thing happens all the way through. It's a hotshot school everybody's going through. He meets a girl who doesn't want him, blah, 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 blah. There's all kinds of conflict. Best friend dies, blah, 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 blah. He gets a girl in the end, blah, blah, blah. Love, lift us up where we belong. Take my breath away. Same song. Just...
Is this the movie review section of the story? Okay. I was confused.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. My problem
well,
with
I lost my associate because you took it right out of my mouth. So, there you go. You did my segue for me. Thank you.
You gotta come with a better one than that. You're not gonna get any applause for that one.
Is there any? Why would I get an applause? I didn't do anything. You did all for me.
I'm applauding myself.
How do I relate a jet crash to any other movie than Top Gun? Is there another film about jets and crashes?
Oh yeah, it's funny.
The Green Lantern.
Yeah, Top Gun too.
The Green Lantern.
Maverick,
he's a wild, crazy. The one
James
with
Bond,
the bad Green Lantern that everyone didn't like. That still gets made fun of to this day. He's a jet pilot in that. And then I don't remember how the story goes, but at some point he gets superpowers because his license gets revoked or something. They're testing some sort of new jet program, and then he fails the test or whatever,
right.
And then they're like, you're out of the skies, pilot. And then he's like, no, my only thing I love to do is fly jets, and now I can fly myself because I have a giant green ring that gives me Green Lantern powers. There you go.
Right, and he took the highway.
And he does crash in that, I think.
Danger zone.
There's definitely a part where jet crashes in that film.
To the danger zone.
Okay, we're just rolling associate today for the rest of our lives.
Karaoke.
So come on, Will.
Karaoke time. Karaoke. Take my breath away.
Tommy, if God was late to meet you in your home, that means that he doesn't have a sense of time. So actually, my dad is right. If God was 7 hours late to meeting you, that means he doesn't have a sense of time.
Hour is men invented time. It doesn't exist in God. And the universe doesn't have time, right? It doesn't exist. It just doesn't. There is no such thing as time. We can't measure a day on Mars because a day on Mars is going to be different than a day here. So it's not the same thing. So there's no measurement of time in existence anywhere in the cosmos. There's no such thing as time. We invented it. Physics. So God being on time. Yeah, it's just God doesn't see the sun rise and sunset. He simply sees the sun. Okay, so that's your
all the time.
Lesson on what time
our
really
next
is.
segue
right.
is a non sequitur, which is what we're doing right now. So let's go to our next story,
if there's
which
is God. I'm not saying God's a person; it's a concept. All right, good. That's right. Go ahead.
Coming out of the non sequitur. This is coming out of the European Union as European countries are urged to rethink their human rights on migrations, from Magnus Lund Nielsen on Eurocitiv. All 46 member states of the Council of Europe have endorsed a declaration calling for a renewed interpretation of the European human rights system in response to mounting migration pressure. The declaration comes nearly a year after migration hardliners Denmark and Italy penned an open letter endorsed by around 10 other countries, including Poland, Austria, and Hungary, accusing the judges of overstepping their mandate and restricting government's ability to act in migration cases. The European Court of Human Rights is the international body responsible for enforcing the convention across the 46 Council of Europe countries under the Council of Europe. The Council of Europe is an international multilateral organization separate from the EU institutions. The declaration, approved in Moldova's capital Chisinau, warns that the world has changed since the Human Rights Convention's conception. I would say we're more global and way more connected than we were before. And it's way easier to, migrate to other places. We've got planes, we've got ships, you can just walk. You can just drive to a border and cross the border. The failure to address these challenges adequately may weaken public confidence in the convention system. It writes, adding that countries have the undeniable sovereign right to decide on who to enter the territories. The Council of Europe is just judging you, right? It's not our fault if you feel shame because they say, hey, you're breaking human rights conventions to do that. No, we're not. We're great. We're a great country. We're not treating other humans like second-class citizens because they're from somewhere else. We're not doing that. No. Or PR. The declaration also endorses the concept of return hubs that would see EU countries transfer migrants with rejected asylum claims to third countries outside the EU. While the declaration does not change convention, it could have a ramification for the court's legal practice. Human rights groups fear. Chiara Catelli, an advocacy officer from PICOM, an NGO promoting the rights of undocumented migrants in Europe, called the declaration a direct attack on human rights conventions. Governments are effectively seeking to pressure an independent court into weakening long-established human rights protections in order to facilitate deportations with the risk of deporting people where they could face torture, inhuman or degrading treatment, or they could stop receiving life-saving medical care, she said in a statement sent to Eurocitive. EU countries celebrated the text. We must create a better opportunities for nations to safeguard their own security and deport more foreign criminals. That is a huge assumption that anybody who's coming to your country is a criminal. That's a terrible thing to say. Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Denmark's acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, posted online from Chisinau, adding that the declaration is proof that conventions can be challenged. We must be able to talk about migration clearly, without the taboos and without naivety, wrote Belgian Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost, but never at the expense of what underpins our democracies, the rule of law, the independence of Strasbourg Court, and the universality of human rights. So there is your big news on the EU, well, certain EU countries, certain European countries, I should say, deciding that, hey, it's okay to be racist because they're all criminals. Yeah, they're all criminals. There's no proof anywhere at all that the people who are migrating to Europe are criminals. That's a huge assumption. Just let me make that clear. There is a huge assumption these countries are making that all the criminals ever that come into their country are from another place and they're not born inside their country at all. And that is a racist standing point to sit on. Okay? That is a racist.
Yeah. Immigrants
you
commit
cannot
crime
say,
in the United
oh,
States.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you
Immigrants commit crime at a lower rate. Immigrants,
than any
well,
American.
it's a non sequitur, not really.
Mm-hmm.
They commit crime in America at a lower rate. Why? Because they have no protection, especially if you're here illegally. You have no protection from the
get
law,
deported.
you think.
Yeah.
So
don't want anyone to know about
you're
you.
not going to. Plus, because of that, they become victims of what's known as protection rackets, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the police to protect you. You need a criminal to protect you from the police. So, yeah.
So then the criminals are given more power to be criminals.
Yeah,
Yay!
The criminals take your money, pay off the police, and they just have a nice little cozy middleman where they protect you from everybody. And of course, you need protection from them because they will tear your store down and beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's my non sequitur of what immigrants go through in America and probably every country.
Yep.
which is like you're underground for a reason. The reason you're underground is because the government doesn't see you as officially having rights. Right? You have rights in America, no matter what your immigration status is. You have rights, but this country, 50% of this country doesn't think you have rights, any rights at all. You can just lock you up and throw away the key. You have no rights. That's what they think. That's actually what they think. So, whatever, morons. I hope it happens to them. I hope they all get thrown away, and we'll never hear from them again. That'd be great. Why don't we hear about these people that are locked away? Because they're locked away. That's the thing.
Yeah, they don't have internet connection. They're not on Twitter.
Nobody's getting to visit them. Anybody that shows up to visit them gets turned away. Their families are petitioning human rights organizations all over the world at this very moment because they're being locked away. This is happening. It's not just a freaking
shorter story.
Anyway.
We're going to talk about some drama, I think that we last talked about last year, which is about Shakira. She was taken to court in Spain because she wasn't paying her taxes. Ooh. Because I think, if I remember, I'm sure this will say it, but if I remember the story correctly, her children went to school in Spain while she was there, living there, and they were like, hey, you should have paid taxes.
I remember
because
this.
You were living here.
Remember this story.
And then she was like, that's not what my accountant told me. So anyways, National Court of Justice in Spain. This is on, what was the name of the website again? Digi24, out of Romania. National Court of Justice in Spain picked up the lead singer of Colombian Shakira on charges of tax evasion. The lead singer, well, she's herself, Shakira, on charges of tax evasion and ordered the agency to tax the Spanish to restore the amount of more than 60 million euros that she paid because she was like, sorry for tax evading. Here's the money you wanted. And then the National Court of Justice in Spain was like, actually, you didn't owe that money, so they need to give it back to you, which the singer had paid in fines in addition to interest, shall submit to the agency by the international press, which cites court documents. Thus, the saga of the dispute, the tax on which has been involved in the famous pop singer, has come to its epilogue. The court has ordered that in the middle of the month of April, the return of the amounts paid plus interest at the statutory rate, thereby wiping out any adjustments to the tax and fines of millions of euros imposed by the tax authorities, who had looked upon the artist's residence for tax in Spain in 2011. So that they wanted their money that they actually didn't own. National Court allowed the appeal of the artist against the previous ruling by the tax agency, canceling out the assessments and penalties imposed upon her. According to the ruling, the Spanish tax authority have not been able to prove that Shakira lived in the country for more than 183 days in 2011, and in accordance with the law for the calculation of personal income tax. So, prove I was here! You can't prove I was here. And fun fact, that's the thing you have to do. Shakira has those hips that don't lie, and she also is interested in trying everything. Like, not paying taxes to a government that wanted her money, I guess. But it's a really short story. That's the update. She's free from her tax fraud allegations because they aren't real. That's it. Nothing else to say.
Sequitur is, how old is Shakira now? Because she don't look,
that was not mentioned.
I think she's around 60, but boy, I tell you what, what's in the water in South America? No, she's not that old. Oh, I think she is.
I'm pretty sure we celebrated her 50th birthday on one of our This Day in History recently.
Oh, I gotta look it up. This is my non sequitur. I'll look it up.
Yeah, because I don't really care how old she is. 49, Nico says. Nico looked it up for you first.
49?
Not even 50 yet. Not even 50 yet. I think I'm thinking of Madonna, who is actually 60.
All right, so she does look 49-ish with a little,
That's another non sequitur too. Shakira and Madonna at the World Cup halftime show with BTS.
Oh boy, World Cup. When's that? There's a halftime show.
It's the first ever halftime show. I think the World Cup was like the final World Cup. Whoever's gonna win. I don't know. They wanted to do a Super Bowl thing because they probably got jealous, right? The Super Bowl, which is only an American sport, right? Only an American sport, and they get this huge press all over the world. People are talking about them for that whole week. They're like, wait, why don't we do one of those? And then people will talk about our stupid sports game for a week or a month or whatever. I mean, we're talking about them right now.
That's
So
right.
they won.
Because FIFA is definitely the most admired organization in the world. And let's get on with our... That was sarcasm.
No,
I know I didn't speak sarcasm. I was sarcasm. Don't forget, FIFA gave Sticky the Clown a peace prize for some fucking reason. Here's your peace
Oh
prize!
no, don't mention that. Tommy's going to go on a rant again.
A peace prize from a freaking club soccer organization, right? Like a freaking football club. The football club
We
gave
know
a
all
peace
about
prize.
peace. Wait a minute. Remind me what hooligans do every single sports game where they lose. Oh, right.
Yeah.
They destroy the entire stadium and the city in which the match happened in.
Yeah, the least peaceful sport on the planet gave out a peace prize. That's just amazing. The least peaceful person on the planet.
Hockey would be more peaceful, I think. Alliteration
hockey.
headline is our next segue.
Of course, hockey's not a sport, as George Carlin explained. It's not a sport. It's 3 different activities being combined: ice skating, playing around with the puck, and beating the shit out of somebody. Those 3 activities make hockey. Sorry, Canada. You used to be good at hockey, but I'm sorry, your professional teams used to be good at hockey. Not anymore. I just can't get over. Canada has not won a Stanley Cup in your lifetime. Did you realize that? That's just
And
amazing.
it's affected me
They
0%.
And I know it has nothing to do with you. I'm just saying, it's just amazing. That's their national sport. They've won a World Series. They've won an NBA championship in that time. But no. In fact, they were in the World Series last year. Anyway, they only have one team in baseball, but they were in the World Series. But hockey, mystery why none of those professional teams can put a team with the Stanley. The Stanley Cup's been in America since that's just amazing. It's been in America since 1993. It's mind-boggling. Well, back on to the gas price train. We're going to update what's going on with the world and gas price. The United States is really getting hit hard, and stupid people are the dumbest people in the world. I just got to say. I mean, it goes with the territory, but
That's literally the definition.
Smarter. No, I'm just saying. Dumb is you can't learn. Dumb is you can't learn. You can't learn. The thing that you only accept what people tell you, right? Somebody tells you something that you like or you admire, and you just believe them, right? That's a stupid people. That's what dumb people are. They're like, oh my God, yeah. And of course, they think because the United States produces enough oil to supply itself, we supply enough oil to supply ourselves. We shouldn't even be selling our oil to other countries. We can't refine our own oil. We can't. We got to get oil from other places to refine because most of it's too crude and our refineries aren't set up. So we're subject to the long-term instability of the oil market, and that's what sets the prices at the pumps is the worldwide oil prices, which are affected by war and by embargoes and so forth. So cleantechnica.com has the latest on gas prices. They're up 56% since this unnecessary war in Canada. There's a chart here with the highest gas prices. The lowest average gas prices in the United States are in Texas, the southern parts of the country. Of course, the southern parts of the country do not tax gasoline because they think, burn that carbon, burn that carbon. So those the ones that are suffering the most by high prices because it's actually organic to the price of oil, are the ones that had the low taxes. And those are Texas, the southern states, mostly Texas. And their average price is $4 to says $3,987.5 is the lowest, which is ridiculous. U.S. gas prices have gone up and up and up since the country bombed Iran in late February and March. Reported that the average price of gas in the country had gone up from $2.89 a gallon to $3.48 a gallon. Now the average price, this is since March, gas is now $4.51 a gallon. That's nearly double. I don't know why they're saying 51%, but to me, $2.89 a gallon to $40, that's nearly double. That's anyway, that's 50%. That's a 56% increase, they say. What's 50% of $3 is $1.50? Yeah, I guess it's about accurate. This is clearly adding excess cost to budget-strapped households. Either way, it sucks. Either day, every day or so, there's a chatter about potential solutions to the war in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz blockades. However, we are yet to see real solutions to get us past this crisis. In a report a couple of days ago, New York Times wrote, hopes for an end to the war for Iran faded after Stinky the Clown failed to secure a commitment from China to help persuade Iran to open the Straits of Hormuz. You have no leverage, Trump. You just give in to every oligarch in the world. Everybody knows that you can be blackmailed. You have no leverage. Telling your stupid cult that you have leverage is not the same as having leverage. You have leverage over idiots only. 2 months ago, in an article titled "Oil Prices Climb on Fears of Broader Energy Crunch," the author wrote an article exploring the rising gas prices. They had gone up on an average in the United States at the time from $2.89 right before the U.S. bombed to $3.48 a gallon, according to USAA. Now the average price is up to $4.51. Yowzers. We all know it's bad, but how bad is it historically? He said yowzers. The 2026 Iran war, that's not my word. I very rarely say yowzers. It's been
That's why I'm laughing, because I heard you say the word yowzers.
It's been since the 20s when I used to MC Charleston contests. I used to say that. So yowzers, yowzers, yowzers. I used to get up there in the mic, and back in my young days as a traveling MC. They didn't have radio disc jockeys at the time. We all know it's bad, but is it bad historically? The 2026 Iran war, including the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, has led to what International Energy Agency has characterized the largest supply distribution in history of the global oil market. Way to go, Trump! You did another thing that nobody's ever done before. The world has largely been using oil reserves as this time period in order to keep the price down, relatively speaking, but the big concern is these are now starting to run low. Don't forget that Stinky the Clown forget to replenish our strategic oil reserves, and oil was $50 a barrel. He could have just been out there in the open market buying up oil and just putting them in our strategic oil reserve, but he wasn't, because he has no plan. He's being blackmailed by Russia. He works for Russia. Well, he's being blackmailed by Israel, Russia, Saudi Arabia, China probably, right? Who knows who's blackmailing this piece of shit. So don't expect Trump to have any solutions. He only causes problems. And someday, all you idiots are going to figure that out. All right, there's a quick story. I'll do a longer one in a minute. Well, we'll shorten it up. Let's have it.
4 whips up wallets, wounding wealth while weaving waves.
Oh, nice headline. And I'm slow on the old, because it's hard to read a story. Get right to the soundboard, you know. All right, so that headline should have been a W. Let's do another story. This is about health. Scientists identify simple supplement that greatly reduces Alzheimer damage. Just in the nick of time for me, because I'm going to get those years away. I think Grandpa's had enough. He's talking to a tree. SciTechDaily.com.
Which is funny because when you look off that direction, your background is a tree. When you over there is an actual tree.
Oh, gotcha. Right on. Yeah, I only exist in hyperspace. I'm not a real person, so I'm in this actual space. Yes, I have found myself in the zone where Jeff Bridges found himself in Tron, or perhaps I'm in the Matrix. I'm not sure. SciTechDaily.com. Scientists identify simple supplement. Let's talk about this. Is let's do it. No person on this article. Scientists in Japan say a common amino acid already sold as a dietary supplement may slow key processes linked to Alzheimer's disease. A study published in Neurochemistry International, researchers found that arginine reduced the buildup of toxic amyloid beta, or AB, A with the beta sign. A beta. No, beta sign is that B with a little thing coming down. It's a Greek letter. Proteins. It's a protein that both fruit fly and mouse models of Alzheimer's disease. Of course, fruit flies. How do you know if a fruit fly has Alzheimer's? You can't remember what fruit he was eating? The The compound also appears to ease brain inflammation and improve behavioral performance in mice. My lips aren't working. Arginine is not a new experimental drug. It's a naturally occurring amino acid involved in functions such as blood flow, immune signaling, and wound healing, and it already has established medical safety record in several conditions. Alzheimer's disease affects more than 50 million people worldwide, and the number is expected to rise sharply as populations age. One of the disease's defining features is its accumulation of amyloid beta proteins in the brain. And a fly just landed on me. Oh, fruit fly! And I just killed his Alzheimer's. Over time, these proteins misfold and clump together into sticky plaques that are believed to damage neurons and trigger inflation.
Oh, you got plaque on your neurons. You gotta get a toothbrush to that.
Not me, not this guy. Although newer antibody drugs such as Lacanmab and Donanemab, designed to remove amyloid from the brain, their benefits have been modest for many patients. Of course, they're going to be designer drugs developed by pharmaceutical companies to make money off your insecurity. The treatments can also cost tens of thousands of dollars per year and may cause potentially serious side effects. There's no side effects of the arginines produced by your body. The Japanese research team took a very different approach. Instead of trying to clear plaques after they formed, they investigated whether arginine could stop amyloid proteins from clumping together in the first place. How arginine may protect the brain. Arginine belongs to a class of molecules known as chemical chaperones. These compounds help proteins maintain their proper shape and may prevent the kind of misfolding seen in neurodegenerative diseases. Previous research from the same group suggests arginine could reduce harmful protein aggregation and disorders such as spinal cerebellar ataxia type 6 or SCA6. The prompting researchers test whether the same effect might apply to Alzheimer's. The study is led by graduate student Kanako Fuji and Professor Yoshitaka Nagai of Kindai University's Faculty of Medicine in Osaka, together with the Associate Professor Toshidi Takeuchi from the university's Life Science Research Institute. Laboratory experiments found that the arginine directly reduced the formation of the A-beta 42 fibrils, one of the most aggregation-prone forms of the amyloid beta. Higher arginine concentrations produce stronger anti-aggregation effects. So you just put more concentration, take more of it at once, and it does even more. There's going to be a point of saturation, or the law of diminished returns, but yeah. More is probably better in this case. Electron microscope images showed that amyloid fibers exposed to arginine were shorter and less developed. Hell yeah! And it shows a picture of this lady holding up a pill. And it says arginine is found naturally in protein-rich foods such as meat, fish, eggs, dairy products, nuts, seeds, and legumes. It is also widely available as a dietary supplement. And there's your quick story, and I would just like to point out I've been taking this for years. I am ahead of the curve on health. Oh yeah. Years and years and years. And the proof is right here. And here's the pill the lady was holding up in the picture. One of these a day, or two. Take two. Maybe I'll start taking two. But yeah, I've been taking these for years. Not daily, about twice a week. Because I do not believe in over-consuming something that's good for you. Because I think there is a point of diminishing returns. Anyway, there's the...
My alliteration supplements sparking synapse sensitivity.
Right on! Amino acids. The best kind of acid are the amino acids. And I did send you a video about something that happened 20 years ago.
It wasn't the whale video again, was it?
No.
Okay, because we got a copyright strike from the whale video. Like, we actually got a genuine strike on the channel from that whale video.
No, this is the guy that wandered into. This is the guy that went into the BBC 20 years ago for a job interview, and it ended up on the air getting interviewed about something specific by the. Yeah, so it happened 20 years ago, and the video I sent you was 10 years old, which is celebrating a 10-year anniversary. So it was 20 years ago, and the guy's still around. And I saw the BBC interview for him modern day was like 18 minutes. I couldn't picture that.
That's too long.
Anywho,
our next segue is haiku.
Haiku.
Get your poetry license out, as we're going to talk about the Harlem Renaissance documentary. If you don't know what the Harlem Renaissance is, it's the reason we have music today. At least that's what I give it credit for. When people say black people invented modern music, they're talking about the Harlem Renaissance. This is by Nadia Komami on The Guardian. In 1969, the pioneering documentarian William Greaves wrote of his fury over the racially degrading stereotypes that white film producers threw up on American screens. It became clear to me that unless we black people began to produce information for screen and television, there would always be a distortion of the black image, he said. 3 years later, Greaves began work on what he considered the most important footage he had ever shot, a feature documentary gathering surviving figures of the Harlem Renaissance to reflect on the movement that had built half a century earlier. Now, more than 50 years after cameras rolled, Once Upon a Time in Harlem is finally receiving its international premiere in the Cannes Directors Fortnight, completed, not Fortnite the game, like Fortnite as in 14 days. Completed not by William Greaves, who died in 2014 sadly, but by his son David and granddaughter Leonie. The documentary centers on a cocktail party Greaves hosted at Duke Ellington's house in Harlem in August of 1972. An attempt to capture the voices of artists, writers, musicians, and organizers whose work had transformed Black American culture in the 1920s, but whose stories were already at risk of being sidelined. Yeah, didn't Elvis invent that? No, it wasn't Elvis. It was a black guy. Greaves invited every surviving participant he could locate. Many had not seen one another for decades. They included the painter Aaron Douglas, the queer artist and writer Richard Bruce Nugent, the poet Arna Bontemps, the musician U.B. Blake and Noble Sissel, the photographer James Van Der Zee, and Ida McCullen, the widow of Count Ian Cullen. For 4 hours, Greaves filmed them as they laughed, reminisced, and debated. The resulting film follows the rhythm of the party itself, tentative greetings and warm memories gradually giving way to animated debates over politics, language, and legacy. David Greaves, who was there in 1972, aged 22, worked on the shoot as a cameraman under his father. I was aware of the people involved and how important they were, he told The Guardian. My father thought they were extraordinary, and there we were to capture them. Duke Ellington himself was unwell and did not attend, but his sister Ruth was present. There were 4 cameras, 2 crews circulating through the apartment, catching conversations, these little moments between them, David said. Mostly my father just let them freestyle. It was very fluid. Among the film's strengths is precisely that looseness. At one point, guests debate whether the term Negro should be discarded in favor of Afro-American. Elsewhere, they discuss Marcus Garvey and Langston Hughes and the global reverberations of anti-colonial struggle. Aaron Douglas reflects on jazz, telling the room it would be considered a revolution in relation to other music. It was not a revolution to us. For David Greaves, those conversations feel strikingly current. When they talk about whether to call themselves black or Negro, that's a discussion still happening now. You've got black, African American, people of color, and then there is still the question of what the diaspora should do in relation to Africa. He points to footage in the film of Haile Selassie's 1936 appeal to the League of Nations after Italy's invasion of Ethiopia. While editing it, he thought of Volodymyr Zelensky seeking international support after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Selassie didn't get help, but Zelensky was able to. Hey, tell me why. What's the difference? Give you one guess. And now they're at the point where they're building their own munitions. They're fighting off the Russians with one hand and helping the Gulf states with the other. The film also reminds viewers how recent America's racial violence remains. David points to footage accompanying the anti-lynching poem, The Lynching, ending on a young white girl watching with what he calls fiendish glee. She would have been about the same age as my father, which means her child would be my age, and her grandchild my daughter's age. He said, all three of us vote. The U.S. is not that far away from that time. Just 3 generations. That is kind of racing. For him, the film arrives as Black history is once again being fought over in the U.S. Asked about convicted felon Trump's recent attacks on Smithsonian over a race-focused program, and he said, you look at it and think, Jesus, who is this? Why do they do this kind of thing? It's who he is, and we just have to deal with it. He added, they've been doing everything they can to erase the Black experience in America, even removing signage from Park Service sites. What this film does is show a group of wonderful people sitting around talking about a time 50 years ago and about their own present. These giant intellectuals and their media didn't even realize existed. The footage was originally shot but unused for Greaves' 1974 documentary From These Roots, though he went on to make dozens of more films, including the experimental landmark documentary Symbiopsychotaxiplasm. That's a word. He never finished the Harlem project closest to his heart. After William's death, the material passed to his widow Louise, who continued working on it until her own death in 23. David and Liani then took over, restoring and digitizing 60,000 feet of 16mm film. Wow! In the process, David says he came to understand his father's more deeply. Reading notes in his books on Eastern philosophy, he discovered the intellectual roots of the conversation Williams often had about pain, suffering, and consciousness. He was a much heavier dude than I'd realized, he said, laughing. When shaping the final cut, he followed one of his father's principles. My dad used to say, if there's something that affects you viscerally, go with it. The unfinished film screened in fragments in 24 and 25, where it drew rapturous responses. Richard Brody of The New Yorker called it one of the greatest talking pictures he had ever seen. David, who had spent the past 3 decades publishing Our Time Press, a Brooklyn community newspaper focused on Black civic and cultural life with his wife, Bernice Green, said he hoped to release the film in time for Greaves' centenary in October, with retrospective plans in New York and at the Barbican in London. My dad was appreciated by those who knew documentary film, but he didn't have the acclaim that he has now, he said. This film should cement him as a chronicler of the history of African Americans. So there is a celebration, the centenary celebration, I guess, or hopefully soon, right in October. This film will be done, printed, and available for global release, so everyone, not just America, can learn about the Black lives that helped shape the world, I would argue. I seriously don't think the Harlem Renaissance gets enough credit for how it shaped everything we call art. Everything, especially with the Americanization of, global media.
Well, yeah, a lot of jazz
a lot
musicians.
Of that Americanization
moved to New York.
is Black. It's Black Americans who did that. So.
Yeah, because New York City was one of those places where white people and Black people could actually live in the same place. So yeah,
and interact with each other, and it wasn't fucking weird.
They did segregate by Harlem, right? Harlem was definitely, but Harlem again was all ethnicities. And if you've ever watched anything at the Apollo, you know what the headquarters, the Apollo Theater of Harlem's culture is the Apollo Theater. That's my haiku then, is going to talk about that. Harlem Renaissance. Not rock and roll, not the blues. Apollo showtime.
A lot of comedians love playing at the Apollo, of course. It's always in their little...
Oh yeah, amateur night at the Apollo. People will get the hook at the Apollo, the literal hook. If you suck at your act, they will bring that hook out, pull you off the stage. They didn't invent it, but I think they still use it. I don't know if they still use it. Maybe not. Love the
final segue for this day in history.
This day in history, we'll go back to what's the miss of time. What'd you get?
Alliteration, so I'm re-rolling. The wheel is very repetitive today. 3 associates in a row.
Really?
Limerick.
Yeah.
I'll write you
It's
3
always that
limericks
way,
about
though.
this day in history.
Poor thing. You want to respin? I don't think
Spin
you
limericks.
bargain for all that. Yeah. Well, you can respin, can't you? You just stuck with it, I guess. Okay, this
Nope,
date
I don't know
1642.
reason
Let's
to.
talk about Let's talk about Montreal. Montreal, which is in the province of Quebec in Canada. Did you know that Montreal is an island? It's actually an island. Montreal is an island. It's on the confluence of the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Ottawa River. And it was founded this day in 1642. It was founded by Paul de Comede Sieur de Maisonneville. I don't know what the heck that says. It's French. And a French guy founded it in 1642. So happy anniversary to Montreal, which is the highest population freshwater island
Paul
in the
de
world.
Chomede sur de Maisons Nouvelles. There you go.
Yeah.
Maisons.
And it is still, and I had to look this up, it is the most highly populated island in the world that is surrounded by fresh water. That is surrounded by fresh water.
That's
Completely
pretty
surrounded
cool.
by
That's a
St.
fun
Lawrence
fact.
Seaway. Yeah, so I didn't realize Montreal was an island until I said it the other day. So, well, that's cool. I've never been to Montreal, although I've been to the Ottawa River on the border of Quebec and Ontario. 1860, Abraham Lincoln became the Republican candidate for the presidency, the third ballot of the Republican National Convention. He eventually won and ended up on our money. 1883, German architect
exactly
and
why he
educator
did it,
Walter Gropius, who exerted a major influence on the development of modern agriculture. He was born anyway. He's born this day. He was the director of the Bauhaus. This is pre-Hitler, so let's not hold him responsible for that. 1899, the first series of international conferences that produced the Hague Convention began at The Hague in the Netherlands. What a great place to start, the Hague Convention. You're calling it that. 1933, the U.S. government established the Tennessee Valley Authority to control floods and produce electrical power along the Tennessee River and its tributaries. And if you ever saw the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That's what they did. That's why they flooded his old homestead. They were flooding that.
And he just
Tennessee
wanted to get his
River
treasure
Valley
in time.
That's it. Yeah, it wasn't even a treasure. He was just trying to get back before his wife got married. And then he went back to get his ring. But he never found it because they flooded the river. I'm giving away the end. 1940, Brussels fell to the invading German army in World War II and was subjected to harsh terms of occupation. That was Hitler's worst work. 1953, American aviator Jacqueline Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier. The plane she was in broke the sound barrier, not her. Okay, just to be sure. Again, we understand that the first man to break the sound barrier, given credit, is Chuck Yeager, and we know that the first people to break the sound barrier didn't live through it, right? Let's go ahead and add that little asterisk to that record. Broke the sound barrier and lived to tell about it, because the first people that broke the sound barrier just turned into flat. They had to bury them in sections, let's put it that way. In 1956, Swiss climbers Fritz Luchschinger and Ernest Rees made the first ascent of the Lhotse, L-H-O-T-S-E, Lhotse One mountains in the Himalayas. So some rich guys with nothing better to do, could afford to do, waste a lot of time going to the top of a mountain and go, wow, it's really cold. 1974, India detonated a nuclear weapon in the Rajasthan desert on purpose. And we're supposed to be, by 1974, by the way, assholes, you're not supposed to be exploding nuclear weapons in the atmosphere, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Thanks for all the radiation, India. We already knew for 10 years that it was going to cause problems for everybody on Earth, but go ahead, explode another weapon on Earth after we've all told you not to do it. There's a reason there's a nuclear test ban treaty, folks. 1980, Following the earthquake with the magnitude of 5.1 on the Richter scale, Mount St. Helens in Washington state erupted in the greatest volcanic explosions ever recorded in North America. Holy smokes, this is the day that Mount St. Helens, on this day, 46 years ago today, Mount St. Helens blew her top. 2001, the comedy Shrek, and I've been there a number of times. You can actually see Mount St. Helens from Portland. Yeah, it's kind of missing a lot. It's missing a lot. I've seen it from the air plenty of times too. 2001, the comedy Shrek with voices provided by Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy. It has a nationwide release. So 25 years ago today, Shrek entered your local, what do you want to call it? Your lexicon, whatever. Shrek became a thing. 2004, American baseball player Randy Johnson became the oldest pitcher to throw a perfect game for the Arizona Diamondbacks against the Atlanta Braves. What's a perfect game? It means he faced 27 batters, recorded 27 outs, and nobody got on base. Not through a walk, not through a hit batsman, not through an error, not through any other way you can get on base. No catcher interference. Nobody got on base. Nobody got to first base. Perfect game. One of those feats that is rare, very rare in baseball. Anyway, so Randy Johnson, again, known for being 6'10" and throwing the ball like 105 miles an hour. Try to hit that with a guy 6'10", basically in your face by the time he finishes throwing the ball, right? Here he comes, he's coming right at me. Ah! Anyway, yeah, that's why they called it the Big Unit was his nickname. The Big Unit.
The
Threw a
Big
perfect
Unit,
game
nice.
in this day. That was his name, the Big Unit. 2012, Facebook, an American company, started their fascist escapades and with their initial public offering, where they say, hey, worth a lot of money, I can make Zuckerberg made $16 million. And he put it in his bank account and said, I'm perfect. I can decide who can say what. So, again, Mark Zuckerberg is
oh, hail our lizard overlords.
No, he's a clone. He's a Mengele clone from World War II. We know it. He was cloned by the fascists. Right? He was cloned by the fascists. He was cloned. He was programmed. You're right about him being programmed. No, you can program clones. You can definitely program. Humans are actually easy to program, right? Look at all the cults. 2017, American television producer Roger Ailes died, that piece of shit. He started Fox News. He was just a giant festering pus sore on America. The hell with Roger Ailes. 1896. I'm a little dyslexic here. Separate but equal on this day in 1896. The Supreme Court absolutely getting everything wrong. On a 7-1 decision, decreed in Plessy versus Ferguson that racial segregation was not unconstitutional so long as states provided equal facilities and practicing a legal cover to the perpetuation of deeply unequal public systems. So 8 white guys have to decide, hey,
we're not being racist. My black friend likes it.
You get to have a school. We let you have a school. So what if every grade is in one room and you got one teacher and you got no tax base to collect from? Separate but equal. This fucking bullshit fucking Supreme Court. This is what tells
zero
me
equalness and zero equalness.
What are you complaining about? You're getting exactly the same. No, you're not getting exactly the same. It's horse shit. If it was exactly the same, it would be exactly the same, wouldn't it? Huh? How do these people have functioning brains? I just don't even know. Just rationalization is all they went with. They just went with rationalization. Well, there's nothing in the Constitution about it. Bullshit. It's called you rationalizing your own bigotry. All right. Anyway, feature biography is Pope John Paul II, and not Pope. He should have been John. I'm telling you, he should have just called himself John Paul George, and the next Pope could have been John Paul George Ringo, but he blew it. He blew it. But he was born May 18th, 1920. He would be 126 today if he was born in Poland, died in the Vatican, which is where most popes die. He was born in Wadowice, Poland. He died in 2005, age 84, on April 2nd. Right after, he made sure he died the day after April Fool's Day, so everybody knew it wasn't a joke. 1872, Bertrand Russell.
Clever.
Bertrand Russell, one of our more intelligent human beings of the 20th century, he was born 1872. So he was 28 years in the 19th century. But again, if you want find any speeches by Bertrand Russell, listen to him. He makes a lot of sense. Other birthdays today: Chow Yun-fat, Chinese actor, born 1955, and Ai Weiwei, AI is how the name spelled. Ai Weiwei, Chinese activist and artist, born 1957, turning 69 today. That's all right. And our National Day calendar. National Day.
Ai Weiwei.
Do you? How much do you weigh?
That's how you say his name.
How much do you weigh?
Ai Weiwei.
It's National No Dirty Dishes today. Good luck with that one. I guess just eat with your hands.
Yeah, I mean, I always said this on, I think, Z's chat the other day, which is just eat with a tortilla. You eat your plate.
Oh,
there you go, easy.
Order a pizza.
Yeah.
Done.
Throw the box outside. No dishes, bitch.
Right, yeah.
Fold it in half. You don't even need to cut the pizza slices. Oh, we are ordering pizza today.
If you got to eat some sandwich, just eat it over your sink, right? Just eat it over the sink. So you don't need a plate to catch all your droppings. Hey, it's No Dirty Dishes that helps. Man, I clicked on that by accident. I think it's self-explanatory. National Cheese Souffle Day. Souffle is one of those things that rises, and you got to tiptoe around your house until it's done. National Visit Your Relatives Day. Oh, we did that already, but yeah, if you can tolerate them, go visit them. National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day. Yeah, there's an HIV vaccine. If you're worried about having unprotected sex with a bunch of strangers, probably should get that. National Sun Responsibility
Day. Or with your not strangers.
Day.
The worst spread of STDs is when your partner cheats on you. They don't tell you, and then they give it to you too. So,
that makes them a stranger. Again, if you know somebody like that, that makes them a stranger. You really don't know them. They are a stranger. Okay. National Sun Responsibility Day. Again, if you're going out in the sun, dumbasses, I say this to these golfers yesterday. How do you go out in the sun all day and not even wear a freaking hat? They make fun of the guys, the golfers. They make fun of the guys that wear the big hats that cover all of their shoulders and their neck and everything. That's the most intelligent thing you could do, but they get made fun of. Well, the sponsors give you a free hat. They pay you to wear the hat. Why can't the sponsors make fucking big old freaking field hand
sun hats?
Yeah. Yeah, they're rich as fuck. They're rich as fuck. They don't even have to buy these fucking hats. But the golfers make fun of them. They make fun of, okay, you're wearing a hat. Like, well, that's the most common sense hat you can wear. That baseball cap doesn't protect you from the sun. Not at all.
Honestly, it sounds like a man thing, right? Just another reason to be like, you're less manly than me because you wear a hat outside in the sun. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. You're insecure.
Yep, men worry more about appearances than women, and I don't even think it's even close, because the appearance is not necessarily, I want to appear pretty. Not appearing pretty. No. You just don't want to appear weak in any way. Yeah. Oh, no, weakness. You can't cry.
What, you can't handle a little sun? You're not laser resistant? You're not a real man, because you're not laser resistant like me. I could go out in space without a spacesuit. That's how manly I am. No weakness to be found here.
But then again, you live in a country where everybody's on a bike without a helmet, so.
That's not true. Old people wear helmets because they can obviously break their head open like an egg. Yeah, children are wearing helmets. I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, in the United States, though, if you're not wearing a helmet, you're just taking your life in your hands because we have maniacs. We have a high proportion of maniacs. Anyway, there's your quick story. That's everything for today. All your stories, your Mucking Fonday, your mispronunciations, and everything for Monday, May 18th on before. We got any food today? Souffle. Yeah,
cheese souffle. Delicious.
And make sure you don't dirty a dish. Somehow make that without dirtying a dish. I don't know how you do that, but hey.
Maybe you can make it inside of a tortilla.
Make it in an aluminum pan and throw the aluminum pan away and create more waste.
Exactly.
And recycle the aluminum. There you go. There's your fun little thing. Or as you say in England, you say aluminium. Sorry, aluminium.
Aluminium. They spell it differently, yes.
Aluminium. Aluminium.
Okay, ready for my 3 limericks?
And they all have bangers for breakfast. Yes, go ahead.
2 worlds
Limericks.
marked with barriers tall, where fairness was just a false call. Schools meant to be fair were just empty air, as equality's shadows grew small. That's about our special event.
All right.
Separate but equal, separate but shitty. In Upper Derby, a star took flight, with humor so sharp and so bright. Tina Fey's clever wit, in sketches she fit. SNL's queen, a true comedic delight.
Oh, there you go, Tina Fey.
On May 18th, give a cheer. For dishes, let's banish that fear. Order takeout or dine, let the clatter decline. For today, it's all joy and good cheer.
Oh man, you really went to work? Hard work.
Well, understanding history is really long, so I didn't have time to write limericks.
Yeah. All right.
Depending on what's happened in
That's all I
history,
got.
but usually there's at least 10 to 15 things to talk about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
International observances. Like, what else do I need to do? International observances. There are none today. So I hope you're still continuing living together in peace, celebrating light, and telecommunication information of society. That's what was over the weekend. So I hope you're still celebrating that. We will see you tomorrow
56.
for Good Tues News Day, in which we will be celebrating all the good things that are happening on the globe and in the universe, because there are good things. It's not all doom and gloom. So make sure that you subscribe to the Before Coffee podcast channel, following on the Before Coffee podcast channel on Twitch, and turning on those notifications so you know when we go live and post a video. Thank you to everyone who's already supporting us, especially our Patreon supporters under the Before Coffee tier. And I felt like I was supposed to say something else, but I can't remember what else. So we'll see you tomorrow. And here is our mic drop moment.
Early Alzheimer's.
Happy 20th anniversary to I'm
It says
here
10
for
years
the interview.
ago.
Oh,
It was 10 years ago, and this video was 10
When
years
this
ago.
video
So
was
it's
made,
20
yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
get out of the way. You can't read the subtitles.
So what does this all mean for the industry and the growth of music online? Well, Guy Cuny is the editor
This
of
is
the
the
technology
best.
website.
He's like, "That's not my
News
name."
Wireless. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Were you surprised by this verdict today?
I'm very surprised to see.
Love how he just
this verdict
rolls with
to
it,
come
man.
on me, because I was not expecting that.
Oh, this
When
part
I
of
came,
my...
they told me something else, and I'm coming.
He's such a music industry expert. Look at him.
He's
Black. He must not
Big
know something
surprise.
about it. He's
Yeah,
African.
yeah.
Yeah. Music is
with
where it
regards
came from,
to,
yeah?
The cost that's involved. Do you think?
I love this guy.
now
I
more
hope they... I
people
don't know if
will
they
be
hired him. They should have.
downloading online?
Hopefully they did.
Actually, if you can go everywhere, you're gonna see a lot of people downloading to the internet and the website, everything they
Yeah.
want.
He's absolutely
Look
right.
at that.
But,
He just took it up.
It's much better.
What was he even being interviewed? Like, what was he there to be?
People, what they want and to get.
The guy
They
that cleans
mentioned
out
what
the
job-
desks. I don't
So
know.
fast everything they're looking for.
This does really seem to be
Considering
the way the
English is
music industry
obviously not his
progressing
first
now, that people
language,
want to go onto the website
He's
and
obviously a
download
great
music.
interview, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's
You
suited
can go
for all
everywhere
situations.
on the
Adaptability is the
cyber
most
cafe and you can
important
check,
ability, right?
He's just agreeing with
Adaptability.
whatever the
It's gonna be
interviewer
just
says and then
easier
adds his
for
own
everyone
opinions in.
to get something
Right.
to the internet.
He knows exactly
Thank
what
you.
to
Thanks very much
say.
indeed. I think
Didn't
we
get the
can,
job.
now also
You
speak
bastards
to-
did not hire him.
Racist. That's just racism.
I would have hired him on it. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.